I usually work on commissions and personal pieces alongside my university work, which I was doing in first and second year. But now that I'm in third year and there's a year left of uni, I'm basically just going to focus on finishing the graduate collection and putting all my time into that. So I'm not going to work on other things really on the side, or maybe if I do, it'll be something very small. At the moment, I'm purely focusing on the graduate collection because after that, I'm not sure what direction I'm going to go into, whether I'm going to try and get a job as like an intern or start up my own fashion label from the very beginning. But I need to work that out first before I can think about another collection. I think one of my moments where it wasn't a big setback, but it was a slight setback, making my industrial nature rusted coat, was when I cut all the pieces out of the wool and I started like rolling them up with the wire wool and the vinegar and keeping them warm so they started creating rust. And while I was keeping them warm to make the chemical reaction go quicker, it actually shrunk the wool. So when I went to go sew the two pieces together for example, the hood, it had shrunk half of the hood. And so I had half of the head really big. And I ended up having to spend a couple of hours stretching out on like the steam press, going back and forth, stretching and stretching. And if you feel the rusted parts to the like bits that haven't been like touched, they feel very different, and it's almost like one's like proper washed wool. And I'm actually really lucky that it did end up having a little bit of stretch, but I was nervous that I was going to lose the entire thing, have to restart and have to roll out the fabric, rust it in its entirety, and then cut out my pieces. With this specific one, I was very like, oh, no idea what to do. At this point, I was like, I literally can't afford to buy more fabric. I have to complete this. And I was very lucky that it did stretch, but there was like a lot of panic in my eyes. And yeah, I was just like, I can't afford to redo this at all. So I did think I'd have to either cut each piece the amount it shrunk and just have like a smaller jacket, or yeah, that was my only option really. But in terms of like dealing with stress, I try and keep my like work life and to university, anything to do with fashion, and like my social life slightly separate. So if I am having a bad day at work, I can just throw myself in to like my social life and have fun doing other things and just forgetting about work, or vice versa. Let's say if I'm not having a very nice time with my friends or something, or something's come up, I can just throw myself into my work and produce good work, hopefully. Something that I've done all my life, even when at school, the escape to do with art as a whole has always been so helpful for me. And I've been in like my darkest places and just going to the studios and like creating, either even back then when it's like, if it's painting, drawing, or making clothes, it's always been an escape, which has been so lovely. I do some photography work for mainly friends when it's needed, and I do some painting, but not that I'd show many people at all. Mainly just for personal use, like around my room, or to give it to a friend, or like birthday cards and bits and bobs. Nothing. Yeah, fashion and garment construction is my main art form. But I do enjoy other medias, and I actually want to get a lot more into painting, because I used to enjoy that a lot when I was at school. I miss the more hands-on, free roughness that comes with it, rather than having to be able to attach two pieces of cloth together to create something. Our motivation, I think it comes from the fact I'm not very good at doing anything else other than fashion, but it comes more with the drive to create, like art for art's sake, and just creating more and more and more. And it's, just the happiness that fashion brings. I strive for that happiness and enjoyment. And not to try and sound too cringy or anything, but the fact that if you're not happy, like, what are you doing? So I'm just striving to be as happy as I am when I'm creating my garments. Yeah.